this has a very serious connotations to how we live in this world. And I'm going to start this as we're going to take it one passage, one scripture, one verse at a time. And then we're going to get into the meat of this thing. It's like, how do we live in all this world? The first thing he says is that the end of all things is near. This is what makes me laugh the most about how our people predict the end of the world. They said the end of the world is happening on May 21st, or the end of the world is going to happen on October 21st. The end of the world is going to be in 1988. We missed that one. Guy published a book once that says 88 reasons why the world's going to end in 1988. Very successful, flew off the shelves. And in 1988, 1989, I don't know what happened to all those books. But in 1989, the man decided, hey, I had much success with my 1988 book. I'm going to write another one and call it 89 Reasons Why the World's Going to End in 1989. True stories, look them up. If you find a copy, please let me know, because I'd like to see them and find out what these reasons are. Well, yeah, see what the extra 89th reason is, you know?
Well, he may come up with 89 completely new reasons. I mean, you had a year.
That would be interesting. So he says but Peter doesn't say the end of the world is going to happen on this date, or this is going to happen. He says the end of the world is near. Near. It's close. Be ready for it. That's the one thing that premillennialists and I agree on. It can happen at any time. We don't know when it's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how it's going to happen. We just know that it's going to happen. And every millennial idea agrees. Every eschatological idea out there, every end times theory out there says one thing, and they all agree on one thing. Jesus Christ is coming back for a second time. And that's the last time he's going to do it. And nobody knows. It's near. It's going to happen at any moment. So, this is what we've got to do. We have to be sober, serious, and self-disciplined. We have to be serious and self-disciplined. That means that we have to walk around stone-faced all the time? I have to be serious. I'm going to be serious for the rest of my life. No! Self-discipline. Discipline. That's a hard one, isn't it? Disciplining ourselves? Man, I have no problem disciplining my I was going to say my kids, but I don't have any kids. But we have no problems with disciplining our kids. We have no problems disciplining my niece, my goddaughter. I have no problems with disciplining some people in my youth group. We have no problems with disciplining other people and making sure they fall in line, right? But when it comes to disciplining ourselves, that's a big issue, isn't it? We want to keep sinning. We want to keep doing the fun things. We don't want discipline because it's a bad word. It's an evil word. Discipline myself. It's all about growth. It's all about being clear-minded. I love the word clear-minded. Being sober of the mind. You guys ever know anybody who got drunk? Anybody ever get drunk? You don't have to raise your hand.
But we know. Or
seeing people who are drunk. They are the most unclear people ever. A friend of mine told me a story of when he was talking to a telephone pole. He was so wasted, he was talking to a telephone pole. How can you be talking to a telephone pole? And he could swear to you the telephone pole was talking back.
That's not wasted. That's crazy.
I've seen people so drunk. A guy that was as skinny as this table leg right here. And he had wasted his life. He had drank his life away to the fact that he looked like a walking zombie. And he got so drunk that he couldn't move. He was just laying out on the street, and laying out in the middle of a yard. And I swear he looked like something from the Night of the Living Dead. He would move, and you're like, and he couldn't even move. He'd be like, yeah. It's like, is he dead? I think he rolled over. That's the kind, and it's not, that's the kind of sober-minded we're talking. That's the kind of mind that he doesn't want us to have, that God doesn't want us to have. And it doesn't take alcohol and drugs to get us that way. We could fill our heads up with so many negative thoughts and so many different thoughts and so many different ideas and wrong things that we get all muddled in the head and we can't think straight. It's kind of like cramming for cramming for your 8 exams in one night. And you're sitting there taking your psychology test, and next thing you know, you're like, what is the mindset of whatever, and you start putting X plus Y equals, you get muddled. God said, be clear. Peter's telling us, be clear-minded, self-control. Be focused and self-disciplined. Focused. Focused on what? Focused on living for God and the good things of God. And why? Be focused yourselves so that you can what? You can pray. Prayer. We don't, and that's a discipline in and of itself. Self-discipline of prayer. I don't want to pray. I know I have to. I don't want to pray all the time. I don't want to wake up that early, 30 minutes earlier so I can pray before I have breakfast. I don't want to take time out of my schedule in the day just so I can turn everything off and pray. There are stories of people who prayed 8 hours a day. 8 hours a day. Can you imagine that? Taking 8 hours of your life and praying a day. Can you imagine praying for an hour? I can't. I have trouble making it 10 minutes. Sometimes I have problems praying 1 minute. I feel like I pray and I pray and I was like, okay, God, I'm done. How long is that? 3 minutes. Wow. I scheduled 5. But prayer is the most important thing a believer has. Prayer connects us to God. Prayer keeps us in line. Prayer keeps us disciplined.